Hello everybody and welcome back. This is Hades and today we are playing a game called Prison of Lies. Let's start. Yep, okay. 4 prisoners on death row have been cleared of all charges. However, this year the quota for execution at the prison is 100. So far there have been 99 executions and it's December 31st. The innocent prisoners have been locked in a room. All of them have been fitted with a lie detector. They each must make the case for their life. They have an hour to decide which one of them will die. Okay. Oh, Warden. I know this must seem harsh, but we're really in a bind here. One of you must die after all. Oh my gosh, I'm a prisoner too? We simply have to meet the quota or our government funding is cut. I'm very sorry about this. The reason why I thought you all should be the ones to decide is that it seems fairer to me than a judge or an independent body making the call. Of course, in the event of a tie, we will execute 2 prisoners and exceed expectations. I want all of you to be satisfied with your final choice. To feel like you made the right decision. I feel like you got a fair shake. That's why I'm introducing these lie detectors. Ooh, this. I want everyone to be open with one another. To have a talk based solely on truth. When someone is lying, it will beep and make a fuss. Like this. Ooh, this this beat goes hard. I'm an elephant. Ho ho ho, you see? So please have an honest conversation. Good luck. And remember, be respectful of one another. Don't talk to each other like you're hardened criminals. Wait, that's a lie? Because everyone in this room has been found innocent. It's a lie! See you in an hour. Oh my gosh, I really like the beat. We stared at the door in stunned silence. Did that mean what we thought it meant? We were all afraid to speak, and yet time was ticking on. Okay. Chapter 1. The hour mark. Okay. Oh, prisoner E. Okay, what was that? Is he saying one of us is actually guilty? Prisoner Q? I guess? Or O? Or A? Whatever. That's what he must have meant. It's troubling. Prisoner J. What are you talking about, Q? Okay, what's Q? This is great. The whole reason we're here is basically to sentence an innocent person to death. But the warden just inevitably revealed that one of us isn't actually innocent. English is hard. If we can figure out who that is, then that person will be the obvious choice. Oh, I hadn't thought about it like that, I guess. You're getting ahead of yourself, J. Prisoner V. Remember his precise wording. Everyone in this room has been found innocent. We know he was lying when he said that, but that doesn't necessarily mean one of us is guilty. I don't get it. There's nothing else that could mean, right? No, it was the way he phrased it. Since he was in the room at the time when he said, "in this room," that could just mean it was a lie because the warden himself hasn't been found innocent because he's never committed a crime. Exactly. Oh well. Does this mean we're going to have to sentence an innocent person to death after all? To be honest, I don't give a crap as long as it's not me. This place has put me through a lot for nothing. I would like to ask everyone, do they agree with V? Was the warden's life that he, being among those present in this room, was never convicted and then found innocent of a crime? Yeah, I think that as soon as we can get it into our heads that we will be executing an innocent person, the better. Or it could mean that everyone in this room is guilty of something. Because then it just becomes about winning the personality Olympics. And as you can see, I'm competing on a national level. Yes, I agree. Let's not go into the suspecting one another of not actually being innocent. I believe in my heart that all of you are innocent, and that's what counts. Personally, I was conflicted, but you have all convinced me. Let's move on and formally introduce ourselves. I'm Q. I have been on death row for 6 years. He is so not innocent. He is so not innocent. If you've committed a crime that puts you on the death row, I'm sorry, but I was charged with being an accomplice to murder. What happened was that I was in the backseat of my car waiting to pick up my friend A. What I didn't know was that A had just murdered his narcotics dealer. I became an unwitting getaway driver. I had no evidence that I wasn't aware of his crime, but he had evidence that his shirt was covered in blood, and when he got back in the car, he claimed that there was no way I could have missed the blood. Both of us ended up on death row. He was executed last year. I was found innocent when the court re-reviewed my case. A detective proved that A had worn the shirt backwards in order to conceal the blood from me. Okay. Feel free to ask me any questions you want. How'd they prove that? A traffic cam photo showed that the shirt tag poking out below his neck. Did you know the narcotics dealer? I did not know him. How did you feel about his crime? Horrible. Murdering someone is an unforgivable crime. I'm actually in favor of the death penalty. Ironically, I was glad when he had died. Well, no lies there. Q clearly did nothing wrong in that case. We'd have to dig deeper to uncover a reason why she should be executed. I agree. I will go next. I'm V. I've been here for 1 year. I was charged with murder. You were not charged with murder. You're lying. Whoa. Just seeing if it still worked. I don't know. I think you're lying. I think you're fibbing your way out of this. The truth is that I was involved in a robbery. Okay. I broke the window to get inside and shot at someone and missed. Apparently, attempted murder was a state capital offense in 2009, but it's not anymore. I don't think I deserve to be executed. I learned from my mistake. I never want to shoot anyone again. What did you steal? I didn't get a chance to steal anything. Police arrived on the scene immediately. It happened so fast. Where'd you get the gun? I bought it. They're easy to buy and I had no prior convictions. The only conviction here is the conviction I have that you are innocent. We're all innocent, Jay. Do we have to have this conversation again? Sorry. Anyway, I'll go next. I'm E. I was accused of shooting at a police officer. However, I did not. I did, however, witness the officer who accused me tasing a defenseless suspect to death, and I also had a gun on me at the time. It was easy to pin that false story on me. Who would doubt the word of someone in a blue uniform? He got to keep his job, and I've been stuck on death row for 8 years. Recently, an activist group called Free from Death funded a re-investigation of my case. They found that the original investigation had been incredibly biased. What a shock. Anyway, that's why I'm here. Personally, I think we should decide who gets to live based on who's had to be in here the longest. What do you guys think? Interesting. I would have no problem with that. Hold on a minute. We should be judging the merits of a person, not how long they've been in prison. Of course you would say that. 1 year, was it? Guys, let me put an end to this right away. I've also been here for only 1 year, so that doesn't help you decide. But you both can't have been in here for exactly the same amount of time. Splitting hairs now? How long is enough? 11 months? 13 months? I'm not gonna say for how long I've been here, and neither will V. I guess you're right. We should focus on who the person is. Fine, but I clearly deserve to live more than any of you. I know saying that doesn't win me any points, but it's how I feel. And you know that's true because the lie detector isn't going off. Well, we haven't heard from Jay yet. Right now, I agree with you that you deserve to be saved the most, D. But maybe that will change. Fair enough. What's your story, Jay? Don't change the subject, D. I still have some questions. Go ahead. How did you know the suspect that got tased was defenseless? Didn't try defending himself. Very well. Isn't tasing non-lethal? How come the person being tased died? Tasing can be lethal if the victim has certain medical conditions. Okay, I forget what those are, but he might have had one. But does it really make sense to blame the police officer in this case? They were detaining a suspect. Did you miss the part where the suspect didn't defend himself? Or when the cop falsely accused me of shooting at him, sending me to death row for 8 years for nothing? Fair enough. Kind of quick to defend a police officer, aren't you, V? It's how I was raised to be. I do see abuse by police officers, but I think there are a lot of good cops too. This isn't about good cop, bad cop. It's a systematic issue. Anyway, we don't have time for this right now. Do you have any other questions? No. Go ahead, Jay. I'm Jay, as you know. The reason I'm on death row is pretty weird. Did you know that treason is a federal capital offense? And one of the definitions of treason is giving aid and shelter to an enemy of the United States. So, a funny thing happened on my trip to South Korea. Oh boy, I hope this won't take too long. The short version is, I smuggled a few cartons of ocean fish melonberry juice into North Korea. Now you can't actually be convicted for treason unless you have 2 witnesses or you confess. I confessed because I knew it was wrong of me to smuggle 2 cartons of ocean fresh melonberry into North Korea. And so I wondered, wait. Did she say, didn't she maybe my memory is wrong, but I thought she said that she visited South Korea. I think I'm wrong. I think my memory is... no! My brain! Oh, I will wind up here on death row. That's the stupidest thing I've heard. It's so ridiculous, and yet the lie detector isn't going off, so it must be true. And how were you cleared of your charges, Jay? Because it turns out that the specific kind of juice, ocean fresh melonberry, is actually in North Korea. They reopened my case and a judge decided that since I was giving people in North Korea something they already had, it wasn't really aid. Who were you giving ocean fresh melonberry to? Well, my friend in South Korea has relatives in North Korea. Okay, that's who it was. In my opinion, Jay should be executed. Everyone else had faced a gravely serious hardship. Jay's reason for being here is nothing but bad soap opera shenanigans. You really want to execute someone over ocean fresh melonberry smuggling? Wouldn't that just heighten the absurdity of Jay's situation? She suffered a death row for a year over something so inane. That puts her further down my list personally. Just trying to find a fit hole. We need some reason to execute one of us. We're almost at the half-hour mark. There has to be some criteria we can measure this off of, right? Heckler? Hearing everyone's stories, I admit I don't know who to vote for. Everyone managed to be truthful, and we all seem to have been charged with fairly okay, that's the first time I've ever seen this word, innocuous crimes. I don't want to execute anyone based on just an hour of getting to know them. I don't care what the warden said. This seems deeply unfair. It seems unfair, but maybe it doesn't have to be. We failed to put a good use an important tool that the warden gave us, the lie detector. I'm not sure what you mean, V. I've heard your stories about your conviction, but that doesn't tell me everything. I came in knowing you were found innocent, but that doesn't mean you are innocent. In order to claim you are innocent in general, you have to truly believe that you've done anything horribly wrong. Oh, you've never done anything horribly wrong. This would be a very clear litmus test. If we all fail, we could think of something else. I wouldn't bring it up if I didn't think I had a 100% chance of success. I can't imagine that would help. Actually, V is quite smart, you know. Even you must feel guilty about something, V. That's human nature. Is it? Maybe you only think that because you feel guilty about something, E. Alright then, prove it. Very well, I'm innocent. See, not lying. Your turn. What? Is the lie detector broken? I'm an elephant. Guess very well. I never have backed down from my challenge. I am innocent. Okay, well, maybe it's phrased a little vaguely. I am innocent. It works. How about you, Jay? How was I supposed to do this? What do you mean? Nobody on the planet really believes they are fully innocent. Everyone must have something they're guilty about, right? I knew I did, but since it worked for them, maybe it will work for me too. Oh, it's her inner voice. I just had to force myself to believe it. Alright, I'm innocent. Jay! I am innocent! What? It must be wrong. Help! It's doing this for no reason. I can't stop it. I'm not lying. Wow. Is it too late to resurrect that guilty one among us theory? It was a good idea, V. Who knew that such a simple question would trip up Jay this badly? She's clearly... Oh gosh, Jay. She's clearly hiding something. I'm not hiding anything. Jay! You could eliminate all suspicion if you just tell us what you feel guilty about. There's nothing to say. Jay, why are you lying? I'm telling the truth. Wow, we didn't even need the full hour. I think we should vote right away. I don't know. I don't think it's Jay. I think she feels guilty about something, but I don't think that she is guilty of the crime that she's been put here for, which of course they found her innocent for. So wouldn't it be unfair to put her on the death row for something like this? It is her life after all. I have a different idea. We'll sit here and wait until Jay decides to fully be honest with us. You have 35 minutes to think about this, Jay. Fine. If that's what you guys want, then that's what we'll do. Okay. Over the next 5 minutes, I kept hoping someone would change their mind about me. I couldn't help but feel like I'd fallen into a trap. The main issue was I hadn't always been such a great person, but I had been forgiven for my mistakes, and I thought that I had forgiven myself. Apparently not. Suspicion is powerful. Once it starts, it's hard to escape it. I was afraid that I still would not believe it. But seeing as my life was on the line, I had to try. Oh no, Jay. Fine. It's hard for me to say that I'm an innocent person, basically because I destroyed my own life. I abused every substance you can think of, but most of all, I abused myself for it. That's the reason why I can't say I'm innocent. She's lying again. She's lying again. There she goes again. No, she's not lying again. I think what it is that there's another thing that she feels guilty for, but she's not spilling it. Don't you get it? I'll never be able to cover everything I think I'm guilty of. It would take more than an hour. 1 second. Why won't you trust me when I say I'm a good person? That's why. There must be something you're hiding. It was worth a shot. Did I really have to go through my entire life to save it? There are a lot of things I didn't want to revisit. How could you possibly judge all of that within an hour? And yet, it seemed like everyone else had made up their minds. I don't know, I don't think it's Jay. I don't think we should vote Jay. Oh no. Oh no! The rest of the time passed in an uncomfortable silence. Nobody met my eyes except E, but they were cold. I felt extremely alone. First, I had been caught up in the ridiculous North Korea thing. Now this, it just wasn't fair. I had done nothing to deserve it. Maybe I hadn't been witty enough. Maybe there had been a way to avoid saying I'm innocent. Maybe I should have attempted going over my whole life. But then again, this wasn't entirely about me. It was about them. They needed someone to execute. Nobody seemed to deserve it. Maybe they knew in their hearts that I was actually innocent. They just needed someone to take the fall. That's what I choose to believe. Anything else would have been too depressing. It was already feeding my guilt even more. By the time we entered our votes, I was ready to die. Oh gosh, no. The 3 prisoners voted for J. 1 prisoner voted for E. J was executed on January 1st, 2011, but she wasn't the guilty one. The end? You were executed. Wait, hold on a second. Hold on a second. I wasn't given, like, choices to choose from. Huh? Okay, suddenly I'd gotten the strangest feeling that I was about to do something wrong. Everyone else had been able to say that they were innocent, but it might have been different for me. Did I really believe I was innocent myself? I didn't really know the answer. But if I wasn't able to answer this question, I would look really suspicious. Oh gosh. There have... There had to be something I could do to beat the lie detector. I remembered something about people learning to fool lie detectors before. Stupid brain. Why can't it just work? Okay, so basically I'm Jay. Maybe there was a way to rephrase the question. No, that would just look suspicious. I racked my brains searching for the answer when I finally thought of something. The reason the lie detector goes off is because you know the words you're saying are a lie. But what if there was a disconnect between what you said and what you actually believed? What if what you were saying was technically true, but it could be misinterpreted by other people to be something else? And what if that something else was a lie? A half-truth? Could this be it? There was only one way to find out. Innocent. Oh gosh. Yeah, this. Of course. Even if I didn't believe I was innocent, generally speaking, I was still cleared of my charges. If I thought about it like that, then I'm saying I'm innocent would be true. The only problem was making sure that it would be what I was thinking and the other thoughts didn't slip into my brain. It would take a lot of focus, but it was worth a try. I'm innocent. I was cleared of all charges. It worked! It worked! Well, that's everyone. Guess we'll have to come up with another way to figure out who to execute. It had worked. I almost couldn't believe it. I felt like I just barely avoided disaster, but time was ticking on and I had to come up with a whole new game plan, or I would end up on the chopping block. Unfortunately, I'd discovered a new ability. I had a feeling it would be very useful. Chapter 2. Half hour. Should we start chapter 2? Yes, save. Oh gosh. Save here. Save. Has it been saved? Yep. Okay. Should I stop here or do you guys want me to keep on going? Okay. Let me just check. Okay. I think we can keep on going. Let's keep on going. Chapter 2, half hour. Okay, we've only got 30 minutes to figure this out. Your I'm innocent plan didn't seem to help very much, V. All of us are innocent people? I don't buy it. Then what was the point of doing that? It's time to do the hard work of judging character. To me, there's only one person who's been nothing but aggressive and cranky this whole time. E. Knock it off. You don't scare me. Do you think I'm going to play nice now? As I said, I was in here for 8 years. That's the better part of a decade. You think that makes you special? You were probably in your 30s when you got in. What value would you have been offering to society? What are you talking about? I was a dishwasher. Exactly. While you were washing dishes, I was a criminal defense lawyer working for free. Don't you think that would make me a little more valuable to the rest of society? What kind of criminal defense lawyer hangs with people who know narcotics dealers? I think you just answered your own question. I was still in college, so I can't say I was helping society all that much. Did you donate to charity at all? I thought about whether or not to use my newfound ability, but figured it would be put to better use somewhere else. Nah. I didn't donate to charity, however, I devoted myself to community volunteer work often. Well, aren't you an angel? This doesn't seem to be getting us anywhere. Yes, it does. The value of volunteer work vastly outweighs dishwashing, and being a college student isn't particularly valueless. Participating in our broken education system is an important thing to do. The only one here who doesn't seem to have contributed anything of value to society is you, E. Calm down. You think you have me in a corner? Far from it. If you'll recall, I only said that I was dishwashing at the time when I was incarcerated. I was washing I know what it means and I know the word, but it's still hard to pronounce. I was washing dishes for an upscale restaurant, which was part of my transition from my last job, a volunteer chef at a soup kitchen. My real passion has always been cooking. Very well, you could have said that earlier. I'm not sure you have much standing in this area, Q. Don't criminal defense lawyers typically help criminals get out of prison sentences? As I'm sure you're aware of, V, it's unfair to label everyone who goes to prison as a criminal. It's true that criminal defense lawyers sometimes have to represent people that they know probably aren't innocent. However, you have to trust the system. Well, I don't. I'm not thrilled to find out you're a lawyer either, Q. Did you think that would make a room full of prisoners like you? It was my defense lawyer that screwed up and got me put away in the first place when I was innocent. What do you mean, E? We don't know if Q is a terrible lawyer or not. Maybe she was able to prevent situations like ours. We don't know. It's easy to find out. Q, are you a terrible lawyer? I'm not a terrible lawyer. Well, she believes it anyway. If that's really true, then I guess the person who added least to society here really was Jay. It's hard to argue she added more to society than any of us as a college student. Is there anything you can think of that you did that valued society as a whole, Jay? Oh no, I'm sweating. I'm nervous. Would this be a good time to use your ability? It certainly would make me look better. However, it would be tricky to even come up with an example of things I'd done to help society. I had been pretty selfish. Jay, why? Why am I selfish? But did that make me worthy of being executed? Was there some way to keep the conversation from being focused around my failures? Nothing's coming to mind. Give me a second. Any volunteer work? This would be a good time to use your ability. I just hoped I wouldn't dig an even deeper hole for myself. Yes, I volunteered to look after my friend's cat. Care to elaborate? I did volunteer work for 2 or 3 hours a day. No, I was going to need more details. Fortunately, my volunteer work had plenty of materials for half-truths. I was in the room. Someone famous. Myself. I'm disabled. They had poor vision. They were missing their claws. And their legs had gone to. Who was disabled? Nobody does. Okay. Let's see. I don't know if the cat is. My friend's cat. I was looking after someone who was disabled, had poor vision. Okay. Yeah, this would work, but I needed something else to really sell it. My duties included feeding and bathing. Feeding and bathing. Okay. I was looking after someone who was disabled. The cat had been declawed. My duties included feeding them and bathing them. My duties are feeding the cat and bathing the cat. Looking after disabled people is certainly something that benefits society. Great, so now what? I hate finding out how wonderful everyone here is. Oh my gosh. I'm a horrible person. Jay is a horrible person. We're about 40 minutes in and getting nowhere fast. I say we go back to my original plan again. We should all vote for J or V. Both of them only spent a year in here. I think I've made up my mind on this. I don't really care what anyone else says. That's the best way to decide. Well, that is a good point. The idea is starting to grow on me, especially since we're running out of time and nobody has come up with a better idea. Oh no, E was quickly becoming my biggest threat. If she managed to convince Q, then it was between me and V. There were a few scenarios and none of them looked good. Scenario 1, the best outcome. Both E and Q vote for V. I vote for V. V votes for one of them. V is executed. Scenario 2, the second best outcome. If E and Q vote for both me and V, and me and V both will vote for the same person, either E or Q. Either E or Q are executed, which leaves only the worst outcome. E, Q, and V all vote for me. I'm executed. The key to avoiding the worst outcome would be convincing V to not vote for me. But if she was convinced that E and Q would be deciding between the two of us, she would probably do what I would do in this case, vote for me to tip the balance away from herself. Assuming V would always vote for me, and assuming that I would always vote for V, left only one scenario in which I wasn't killed. If both E and Q vote for V, and the warden had specified what would happen if... And the warden had specified what would happen if the vote was tied, we would both die. Okay. Is something wrong, Jay? You look a little pale. There was only one surefire way of this, to use my ability, not to defend myself, but to attack. Out of all of us, E seemed the easiest to attack. She hadn't been making any friends with her... Okay, wow. Cantankerous attitude. If I could convince V to vote for E instead of me, that left only one scenario where I would be killed. If both E and Q voted for me, creating a tie between me and E, much better odds. I just realized something, and I think it may be relevant. I had to smear E. It was the only option. Okay. I've heard people talk. I've heard of E, the letter E. E. That's the best. Do I select anything else? Oh. I can't seem to be able to submit. Oh, okay. Didn't like doing this to E, but I didn't have a choice. I've heard of E before. I'm talking about the letter E. So. Okay. I didn't know what would happen if they realized I was lying, but it couldn't be worse than the current situation, right? She was... It wasn't... Okay. I've heard of E before. She was cleared of all her death row crime charges, but she was charged with something else. Okay, she was lying. Well, you seem to be telling us the truth. Where did you hear about EJ? On television. On Sesame Street. Okay. That's a mean thing to say, Jay. It hurts my feelings. Hurts your feelings? Wait a minute. Are you unable to completely deny Jay's claim? Whoa, what was happening? That's definitely I thought I was bleeding. It was lipstick. That's definitely suspicious. Listen well. Jay is lying. I was never charged with any other crime. Damn it! I thought I could feel the lie detector if I shouted it out strongly enough. Guess I was wrong. You have a lot to answer for, E, and you'd better have a good explanation. I thought I could trust you, E. I can't believe you tried to lie to us. In my desperation, I'd stumbled upon something. Maybe there was an easy solution to this whole mess after all. The guilty among us theory was rearing its head again, and it looked like I wasn't the target. I'd managed to defend myself, but at what cost? Chop the 10 minutes. Oh gosh. Let me save again. Should we continue? Let me check the time. 10 minutes. Do you guys think we can do 10 minutes fast enough? I hope so. Let's try. Let's try. So you think you got me? Well, it certainly seems like it. Huh. I'm tougher than I look. You can't bring me down like this. I'll admit that what Jay claimed is true. I was cleared of all my charges for death row crime. However, prior to that, I was charged with neglecting to pay my rent. It was a bad month for me. Is that everything you were charged with? No, I was also charged with assault. Assault? I think we'll need more details. I spat at someone. Spitting on someone is assault, apparently. That's true. Well, I can't say that it sounds that bad to me personally. Great. Were we back at square one? I disagree. Right now we're in a precarious situation. We have less than 10 minutes left to decide who's going to die. Even a little negative, like spitting on someone, should count for something. We're running out of footholds. This can't be a random choice. I agree. But to be fair to E, I don't think spitting on someone really merits much. However, there's someone here who shot at a police officer. Out of all our stories, I think hers paints her in the worst possible light. Oh really? This is coming from a person stupid enough to send Jews to North Korea. Please spare me. Thanks, E. Actually, I agree with Jay. V was charged with attempted murder, which is worse than any of us. She's only been cleared because of technicality. It's been obvious all along. Sorry about this, V, but we've got to vote for somebody. I understand the desire to vote for somebody, anybody, but please believe me, I do not deserve to die. You certainly seem to believe it yourself. Please, trust me. You don't know the full truth. What? Wait, you're not lying? So, does that mean you have been lying? Technically, I have not been lying. However, I have not been entirely forthcoming with information. Kinda sounds like lying to me. I cannot tell you exactly what I mean, for certain reasons. Come on, what do you have to lose? This is getting annoying. It sounds like a trick. The thing you aren't telling us could be an awful crime that you committed. I have never committed any crimes. What? But... Okay, V is a cop, I think. But I thought you attempted murder. Or is that not a crime now? That is all I will tell you. Just please think for a second about what I might be trying to say. Under what circumstances is shooting at someone not actually a crime? Did she mean shooting in defense? But robbing a place was still a crime, so how could she have claimed to be innocent? I had no idea myself. I looked around at everyone, searching for a clue in their expressions. E's eyes had a glint. Well. I think I might know exactly what you're talking about, V. See, if you can answer this question, who were you shooting at? I can't answer that question. I thought so. Everyone vote for V. What? She can't be trusted. She's been lying about who she is. You've been pretty suspicious yourself, E. Even without taking your personality into account, you've lied and deflected. I don't trust you. Good to know. Q, you've been quick to change your mind about a number of things. Are you sure about anything? Or are you just weighing popular opinion and conforming to it? If you're implying that makes me suspicious as opposed to open-minded, then I'll have to disagree. Just an observation. Jay, you've been letting yourself slip into the background for a while now, but looking back, a lot of your answers were strange. You've been kind of vague about a few things, and I find it incredibly hard to believe that the story you told us about your crime was true. Did you leave anything out? Of course, there were parts I left out. I told you, it's a long, boring story. Yeah, I'm voting for North Korea, girl. Either her or V. I'm voting for you, E. I'm voting for J. They weren't leaving me with much of a choice. I'm voting for V. If I do, E will be most likely to vote for V, righty? Possibly. Vote for me, J. E's been rude to everyone this whole hour. I've changed my mind. I'm also voting for E. Don't know what I was thinking. She's the obvious choice. You shouldn't do that. Remember the rules about ties. If me and J vote for you and you and Q vote for me, then both you and me have to die. True. J, vote for E. I didn't know what to do at all. Stupid brain. I know that time's almost up, but look, here's my deal. E, if you tell me what V's secret is, I will vote for you. V, if you tell me what your secret is first, I'll vote with you. Fine. My secret is that I wasn't a robber. I was an employee at the bank. Oh, wait, that changes everything. Why did they arrest you then? That isn't the whole truth though, V. I remember during her statement, V said I broke the window to get inside. How many bank breaks-in involve breaking and entering through a window? Sounds more like a home invasion to me. Not necessarily. Well then, she should have no trouble clarifying. Was it a home invasion, V? Fine. The incident where I fired my gun was a home invasion. Wait, then what was she hiding? V was never a robber. She was a police officer. You're wrong. Oh no. There you go. It's true? But how did she lie about that without setting off the lie detector? Don't play dumb, Q, as I'm sure you know, and as I'm sure everyone in this room knows, the lie detector isn't infallible. It has an obvious weakness. Half-truths. Exactly. We only have a minute and a half left on the clock. Well, there's one thing I'd like everyone to do. Please say I've never used half-truth. I'll go first. I've never used half-truths. I've never used half-truths. I've never used half-truths. I've never used half-truths. None of us knew what to say after that. The whole hour seemed to be completely wasted. I shouldn't have been so surprised. Why did I assume I was the only one who could outsmart that lie detector? I was an idiot, so of course everyone else had to figure it out. They probably figured it out before I did. The clock ticked down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The vote. Okay. The time has run out, everyone. I hope that you have decided wisely. As part of the voting options, you will also have the option of choosing yourself just in case you would like to be heroic. Wait, we can do that? It's tempting. You should have said that at the beginning, Warden. Then maybe they wouldn't be in this mess. Wait, they? Yes, my cover was blown just a few seconds ago, Q. The truth is, I'm not one of you. I have never been charged with a crime. I am, in fact, a guard in this prison. I was included among the group to make sure none of you got violent. I'm glad it wasn't an issue. The truth was not supposed to be revealed until after the voting was over, but E figured it out. I may have given out too many hints. Wait, if we hadn't figured this out, and we voted for you to die, I was never going to die. It was a trap. What? What do you mean? I think I know. Even though you three are all innocent, if you had sentenced one of our guards to death, obviously that would have to be punished. Then we would have gotten to execute all three of you. You bastards! Why are you so mad, Jay? None of this was fair to begin with. I'm not surprised it was really like this. Your choices are J. Cleared of sending an aide to North Korea. Q. Cleared of being an accomplice to murder. And E. Cleared of shooting at a police officer. Please vote wisely. I had no idea who to vote for. Maybe myself? No, I didn't want to die. But then again, who would I vote for otherwise? E and Q both seemed to have been telling the truth. V was the one who had been lying, and yet both of them admitted to telling half-truths, and yet I also told half-truths. Who could it be? Who could it possibly be? I was out of time. I had to vote. To be honest, I don't think that Q is innocent for some reason. I don't know what it is, I guess intuition, but I don't think Q is innocent, so I'm going to vote for Q. 3 prisoners vote for Q. Q was executed on January 1st, 2011. Her last words were, "The system is broken." They didn't find the guilty one. I had been let off the hook. I was free, but I was racked with guilt at executing an innocent person based on nothing. I had an overwhelming feeling that there really had been a guilty one. Thinking over everything that had happened in the past hour, knowing that everyone had been using half-truths from the beginning, I knew I'd make a mistake. But it was too late. There was no way I could do it all over. I had to live with my choice. Oh no. Wow. Okay. We made the wrong choice? What happens if we vote for... Okay, let's try and vote for E then. Okay. Let's try and vote for E. 3 prisoners voted for E. E was executed on January 1st, 2011. Her last words were, "Remember my sacrifice, you owe me." They didn't find the guilty one. Oh no! Oh no! What? But I was racked with guilt for executing me. The goal is for us to live, right? So either way, whoever I execute is fine. But now I am curious what happens if we vote for ourselves. Let's try and vote for ourselves. All 3 voted for J. J was executed. It makes me happy to know that others will go free. They didn't find the guilty one. Wait, none of them were guilty, so we just vote for... Anyone just try to survive then? Well, it is what it is. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, then do like and subscribe. It helps me a lot and I do appreciate it. And stay tuned for next time. Thank you so much and good night.